Okay, hello everybody. Hello. Welcome to Kiln. Thanks all for being here. Ashton's going to be at the back in case any stragglers come in. They always do. Thanks everyone for coming. So I'm Josh Weber, CEO of Big Red Jelly. We do this event every quarter. So come every quarter. And the reason we put on these events is honestly just to meet, network, and help small business owners. So just by raise of hands, who here is a small business owner? Wow. Shout out. Who is in marketing or creative in any shape? Excellent. With those two groups, I think that's the whole room. Okay, so we have a really cool lineup. Zach from Big Red Jelly will be speaking, Stefan from Upward Engine, and Lexi from Big Red Jelly. So let's get right into it, you guys. But before we do, a couple big shout outs. All of the food that everyone is partaking of is sponsored by and brought by our sponsor, Insperity. And I would love for him to come up and introduce himself. This is Jathan with Insperity. Round of applause.
Food's always a good way to get people to cheer for you, right? I came to the one in December. That's what these guys had. And I decided, but it's funny you said this is a great place for networking and getting to know. You guys here? Is this working? I need to hold like that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get close, Josh. I walked into Zach's office one day, and he was nice enough to give me a few minutes to chat. And then I saw this, came and met some great people. So definitely keep coming. It's a great environment to meet other business owners. So Insperity, even though we're a multi-billion-dollar company, literally, we operate and work with small businesses. I'm here and chose to work with this company because I want to work and support small businesses. And what we do is we are HR solutions that grow as you grow. So if you need help with benefits, payroll, workers' comp, all those kind of things, we can help you do it. So, for example, I know Avery's running HR here for Big Red Jelly, and anything outside of her purview goes to Josh. And most small companies function either one person or maybe two. What we can do to help is that instead of hiring an HR team and having to vet that out and train them, we can come into your business with over 30 years of experience, dedicated teams to help grow your business on the HR side of things. So keep these guys focused on growing the business, and we can help take care of the people. So we are all about the people. And lastly, I've been in sales for a long time, probably longer than some of the people that even are age-wise here. And I'm older. I've probably been selling as long as you've been alive, Avery. But I don't want to sell. If you guys want to have any information, come talk to me. I'm going to slip out during the middle. I've got to run to something real quick, but I'll be back. My cards are out there. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm all about education and supporting the businesses. So thanks for letting me be here.
Second shout out, just a shout out to Kiln. So Carter is at the front desk. This is a really cool space. We all agree. So they do free tours. If you have any interest in working here at Kiln, getting an office space, running in here, you can just run up to me. So go talk with Carter. So big shout out to Kiln. Thank you guys. Whoa. This is new. Okay, so we are giving away an Apple Watch. Okay? Who is an Apple Tribe member? Who's an Android? Okay, so this really is a no strings attached thing, you guys. It's a free audit that we do. We built it for small business owners. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to a form. Enter your email. You'll get an audit later, and we'll pick one entry. And this is fewer people than we've had in recent quarters, so the chances of you winning are great. Big Red Jelly people, I will find you if you enter the audit. No. You can fill out the audit. Scan the QR code. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that, and we will give away a free Apple Watch. I don't know which kind. There's like the SE and the, what's the nice one? The cheaper one. Okay, so again, today's speakers, we've got Zach. Oh, just really quick on that, so coming back here. Shout out to Avery. Avery, raise your hand. It's our office manager, Big Red Jolie. Round of applause for Avery. If you're wondering, Josh, there's like a 1 in 20 chance that I get to watch. Those are great chances. But for all the other entries that complete the audit, some Big Red Jolie swag.
Wow, this box is delivered to you. What is inside, you ask? Whoa. Yeah? Beanie. Yes. Yeah? Yes. Jellyfish pens. Whoa. Jellyfish notebook. Okay. There's more stuff in here. Oh, man. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, very cool. Fill out the form.
And we'll mail it to you. It's just our way of saying thanks for being an entrepreneur, small business owner. We try to support it. Okay, let's get into it. So today's speakers, first up is Zach. A few fun points here. Zach is the co-founder and COO of Big Red Jelly. He is the yin to my yang, the jelly to my peanut butter. I'm a visionary, and Zach's more in the numbers. And so he's going to get into the analytics, some very practical advice on website conversions, I believe. So without further ado, quick round of applause for Zach.
Okay, seeing Josh doing the Irish jig. It's not on my bingo card today. I've got my notes here, 1 second. So, we get this question or this statement a lot, especially in biz dev. My website isn't performing. So, several people raise their hands, small business owners. I'm assuming you all have websites as well. Who's websites? Website people here? Whose websites are? Okay, a good handful. So this is something that comes up all the time. If you don't have a website, it's something to start thinking about as you're making your website. If you're doing it on Wix or Squarespace or Shopify or WordPress, whatever. Caveat, I'm going to go very fast, and it's very surface level, but hopefully the concepts come through. So first things first, define performing, define performance for your website. In the tech world, in the website world, website performance usually means speed, but for business owners, performance means money, right? It means doing business. So if you have an e-commerce website, it's selling products. If you're trying to set up bookings or appointments or calls, emails, request a quote, whatever, that's what performance means in the context of this presentation and with Big Red Jelly. When somebody comes and we start talking about performance, this is what we typically are referring to. So be thinking about, well, what does performance mean for my website? And your website should have a goal, right? A lot of times people don't even know that their website should be performing. So let's talk numbers, right, real quick. When they come in, I say, great, what numbers do you have to support this claim that my website isn't working? Are you working off a hunch? Do you have any data? Google Analytics 4, heat maps, etc.? This is one of my, I forget who said this, but working off a hunch is a great way to spend a lot of money and get nowhere fast. I'll find a quote. I'll attribute it next time. Next time I come and speak. I'm running out of material, so I'll probably have to recycle these eventually. This is a snapshot of Google Analytics 4, right? The dashboard. This should be installed on your website no matter what. If you have Shopify, if you have Wix, it should be installed there too. They have their own reporting and analytics systems. But everything you need, for the most part, at least to answer these questions, is going to be in here. None of this data is accurate, by the way. Fudging a lot of that. So the question is, okay, do you have data? No, I don't have data. I'm like, great. Go install analytics, or we'll help you install analytics. Come back in a month, and we could talk. But I'm not going to operate off of hunches, because I'm just going to waste your money. You're going to waste my time, and we're going to get nowhere fast, right? We're going to just end up being frustrated. They say, yes, I do have data, Zach. I say, great. Let's see what it is saying. The first thing I'm going to look at is what's your conversion rate. We had, I know I've told this story before, if you've been here at previous events, we had a client come in and say, my website isn't performing. We get all the way down to here. We said, well, let's take a look at your conversion rate. It was like 8.5%. And I was like, geez, I'm jealous. I wish my website had 8.5%. 8.5% is crazy, right? If your website's doing 2-3%, great, fantastic, slide. That's great. Anything above that is you're out overperforming. Anything under that, you could probably do better. So this client comes in at 8%, and we're like, okay, your website is performing. It's another issue, and we'll get to that later. And I love talking about conversion rate because we had, who's the client? I was chatting with Honor, where you at? In his office. Another client, and he's like, they do bookings, they do like real estate, kind of international real estate, they do consultations. They're saying, we want 60 bookings on my calendar a month. And I'm like, okay, well that's great, we can just reverse engineer that. What's their conversion rate? Oh, okay, 2-ish, 3-ish%. Okay, you want 60, you need 3,000 visitors a month. Roughly, right? Rough math, very surface level. But I love talking about conversion rate, and I say, okay, what's your conversion rate? Is it in line with your goal, and is your goal realistic? Some people say, I want everyone to convert. Not realistic, right? 2%. This is, again, very high level. You have a super simple website. If you just have a thank you page and Google Analytics installed, and your form redirects to your thank you page, this is the starting place, right? You have a form to get started, you have a thank you page for ordering a product or booking online, and you can track how many users were there. So 341 divided by 12,239 times 100, and when you get a math, roughly 2.5%. It's not accidental, I made that, so it would be 2.5%. Obviously oversimplified, right? Okay. So then you look at that and say 2.5%, is that where it should be, or is that not where it should be? In case you haven't noticed, this is a flow chart. And I have this in the PDF in case anybody wants this later. Chat to me, I'll give it to you. If it's lower than what it should be, that's a different problem with different solutions. If your conversion is about normal or above normal, but you're still not performing in the sense you're not getting those 60 bookings a month, or you're not getting the 100 orders a month or whatever, then it's a different issue. We're just not getting enough traffic. We're going to explore this side of the flow chart for now, and then we'll come back. First things first, low-hanging fruit. 7%, oh no, hold on, this is what my notes are for. 17% decline in conversion rate for every extra second of load speed on your pages. Huge. So if your site take an extra 2.5% or 2.5 seconds, sorry, it's like what, 40%? Like you're cutting your conversion rates in half. So big, big, big. Bugs and features. I put those together intentionally. Sometimes what you think is a feature is actually a hindrance to your users. So talking about like CAPTCHA, reCAPTCHA, spam filtering, it might be filtering out people who are real. And you don't want that. We've seen that happen lots of times. We're adding payment processing. Here's another stat for you. 51% of millennials have used Apple Pay to pay online on e-commerce. 73% of Gen Z. So if you're not offering Apple Pay in your checkout, or Google Pay, is that what Android people use? If you're not offering those, then you're probably missing out on a pretty big chunk of the younger crowd visiting your website on mobile devices. Broken links, wrong emails in the forms, phone numbers. We see this one a lot too. It's like, oh, that's going to Susie's email, but she was let go 4 years ago. Oh, that's great. So these things, super low-hanging fruit, can boost conversion rate basically overnight. Clunking and confusing navigation. I think I posted this on LinkedIn. When there's, especially software people do this a lot. You see like a pricing button in their nav menu, you click pricing, there's request a quote. Instant no. Lose my trust. This is a fun video, I'll put this down, of bad user experience. Must use the same number twice, press F to pay respects, must include an emoji, must include the current year. It's like this, and you'd be surprised how many websites they'll have this kind of stuff. But something, very similar where their contact form is 18 fields long. It's like, how many people are going to fill that out if they just want a quick quote, they want somebody to reach out? Make it as easy as possible to convert with you. Last point, right? Here, I should fast forward. There's some other funny ones in here too. Up can. Sorry guys. Oh, here we go. Imagine this being your phone selector. It gets worse. I'll send you guys the full video if you want it. Meet me after. Can I fast forward on this thing? Oh. It's only like 30 seconds. We'll watch this. Watch advanced mode. Very cool. Pretty awesome. There's one more. Hold on. It's better. Where are we at? We got like 10 seconds left. I think I included the last example. Is this your phone number? And what it does is like, if it's not, contact your rep to change your phone number. And is this your birthday? Earlier or later? It's not far off from some things I've seen. I was submitting, I'm on the do not call registry, and I had to somebody called me, and I was very upset. So I go and add them to that registry, and it was I had to fill out the time, the hour and minute that they called. There were 2 separate fields, and they were just eternal drop downs. It's 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes. I was like, geez, this is crazy. There's easier ways to do this. So you might laugh at that, but you might also have that happening on your website in a less extreme way. So fix those things, and you'll probably see a significant boost. Next, sorry. After the low-hanging fruit, is there a disconnect with your users? So what do I mean is, when they're coming to your website, they're expecting something in particular. Usually it's what you're promising in your advertising marketing. So if you're running Google ads, if you're doing SEO, if you're doing blogs or social media, whatever, they come to your website. Is there a disconnect between what they're expecting and what they're getting? I put pricing, product, service, messaging, etc. up here. It might not be that your pricing is wrong, but it might be a disconnect in that the client or customer or user doesn't understand the value that they're getting in your product or service for that specific price. So I'm not saying change your price, but I'm saying position yourself in a way where it makes sense, there's no disconnect for the people coming onto your website. Another oversimplification, this is in, you guessed it, Google Analytics. This is a behavioral flow. This is not going to tell you everything, it's not going to tell conversion rates, but what it can do after exploring around in here is tell you where some significant drop-offs are. So first things first, we've got the session starts, and then this is homepage people, so people who started their session on the homepage. And you probably can't see that, but about that much is light blue. So the rest of maybe 30% or a third of that is actually going on to more pages. So what that means is the bounce rate there is huge. 2/3 of the people aren't even clicking into a second page. So I'm like, well, there's an opportunity. Something's wrong with my own page. In this example, I can see the people who went to contact page, 120. And I can see that people went to the thank you confirmation page, which is 12. So that's actually okay, 10% from contact to thank you confirmation. So for this example, a big opportunity would be how can we get more people from here to click on more pages? Not necessarily even the contact page, because in this example, there's another lead gen page, sales landing page. If we open that up, there's also, where are we? Oh my goodness. Or services plans, and then they go into the sales landing page, and the thank you confirmation. So you can't find out necessarily conversion rate from this, but I can look at this and say, well, what page is converting better? Is my sales landing page doing better than my contact us page? Where's the traffic dropping off the most? So you can kind of see these things where there's disconnects with the users. If you're seeing a huge drop off at the checkout page for e-commerce, you might want to go look and see why that is. Is it because your shipping costs are too extreme? Or the taxes are miscalculating and it's 300% tax? So these are kind of some tools you can use to dive deeper. So that's that one. It was disconnected. Let's think about branding, let's think about messaging, let's think about driving better traffic. Okay, I'm almost done. Yes. Now we're back. So that was if my conversion rate is lower than it should be. What about if my conversion rate is normal? It's like, Zach, I'm converting 3%. It's like, okay, we just don't have enough traffic. Great news, kinda. Good news is we know exactly how to fix it. Bad news is it's probably going to be a lot of work and cost a little bit of money. Because everybody wants more traffic. If your conversion rate is already good, increasing traffic with ads, SEO, etc., we know the strategies. Stefan's going to talk a lot about these strategies in his presentation. We know what to do. We know how to do it. We can rock and roll. The struggle is let's increase traffic and keep the same quality of traffic so our conversion rates don't drop. If you have 8% conversion rate, like that example client that came through, if we boost conversion or if we boost traffic, we want to maintain that conversion rate as high as possible. Right? Then it's just a money printing machine. You know, you say, hey, $100 gets me 1,000 leads. 1,000 leads converts at 5%. Those 50 clients pay me $10,000. Great. Fantastic. So to recap, you should know what performance looks like for your website. You should be tracking performance for your website. You should be attacking low-hanging fruits. The best way to do this, honestly, is go through your website incognito mode and be a customer. Go all the way through. Order your product, book a consultation, fill out the contact form. Be your own customer. Can you improve the messaging and connection issues on your website? Is there some cognitive dissonance, I guess is the word, when somebody comes on your website from an ad and like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. Can we fix that? And if your conversion rate is good, turn up the gas. Turn up the money-making machine, right? And that's where Stefan and his team come into play. That's it from me, guys. Any questions? Pretty straightforward. If you want the PDF, check me after. And I'll give it to you. It's a long PDF. Okay, thank you, guys.
Any quick questions for Zach? I know he just asked, but any specific questions related to website conversions? Now for hold your peace. Okay, next up we have Stefan with Upward Engine. He is going to turn up the gas. That is the name of the game. So I'll hand the time over to him. Give him a round of applause. Thank you.
All right. What's up, guys? Well, Baylor and I, we're from Upward Engine. This Upward Engine has been around for about 14 years. Is that right? A little less. Been around for a minute. So we do full service digital marketing. I would say that our specialization is certainly in paid ads and SEO. So today I wanted to go over a couple things, how we can identify opportunities to get you to rank better, and also some gold nuggets and best practices in selling. That's what it says, but what I really mean by that is identifying the why. Why do we need SEO? Okay. They told me to set up an intro slide. I felt like I was putting together a dating profile. But this is my little girl. Her and I, we hang out all the time. If I'm not hanging with her, I've got my little pup. He's a lot bigger than that now. And if I'm not doing that, I'm playing guitar and having a good time with that. And there you go, that's me. If I'm not doing this, right? But let's dive in. So I first wanted to set the foundation on SEO, just that we're all on the same page as to what it is, and how you can essentially get rewards from Google in your rankings as far as your organic presence goes. EEAT is something that Google coined, and that's exactly what you should follow to be able to get those rewards for your rankings. Number one is experience. You need to showcase that you have the experience, right? And this is all mainly in content. Okay, content is king, and I'll go over that in more details with some statistics that will kind of outline that for you. But when we're talking about EEAT here, it is predominantly in your content, and how you show the users, hey, I'm the expert here, I know what I'm talking about. And so you can do that by showcasing that you have good experience, tell a story about your services that you have, the products that you offer, right? Make sure that they can see that you have the experience there. And then expertise, there's a few ways to actually show expertise. And you can do that by, I don't know, if you have a PhD, right, in something, you can basically write an article or a blog and make sure that you have a little snippet at the top that shows that you're the expert and show that you have a PhD, right? And if Google sees that, they actually will reward you for that because they see, oh, not only is this person sharing content around this subject, but they have a PhD in it, they know what they're doing. So that's one way that you can showcase expertise. There's many other ways as well. Again, it's all in the content, how you present your services, how you present your products. And then with that will come the authority and the trustworthiness as well. Google's wanting to make sure that you are an authoritative figure and they see that through your content. And you build up more trust through other areas with SEO as well. But just wanted to make sure I highlighted that because whenever you're worried about getting better SEO, whenever you're wanting to make sure that your website is up to the standards that Google has, always think about this acronym. And just to dive in just a little bit deeper, the way that I always explain SEO to clients is that there's two main parts to it. You have on-site optimization and you have off-site optimization. The on-site optimization, as far as how things go now with Google's algorithm, it is the main meat of what needs to be done on your site. These are different types of things you can do, whether they're on-site or off-site work. You'll notice that the only two things here that represent the off-site work are backlinks and link distribution. So I'm going to go into more details here just to kind of pull this all together. The market share that Google has is the highest out of all the search engines. They're just under 80% of that market share, which is actually kind of wild. They've always been around like 85, almost 90%, but Bing is starting to catch some headway. They're at about 12%. But Google is still the leader. 79% is still up, right? So all these other search engines, when we're talking about algorithms, for the most part, these search engines are kind of following what Google's doing. So you can bet that if you're following best practices for what Google is doing, it's going to affect the other search engines as well. The other thing that's important to identify here with why SEO is so important is that roughly 60 to 70% of anybody that's searching on Google will only click on these top 3 positions. So in this chart, you can see here are the top 4 ad positions. And this is if you search anything, right? This is an aggregate of pretty much all the industries. But if you search for something, right, you're going to have a few positions that show the ads, and then you're going to have the organic search results, and there's 10 per page. Okay? We're all basically familiar with that. But literally, these top 3 spots account for almost 70% of the click-through rate. So that means that hardly anyone's really clicking on ads do have their place. I'm not dogging on ads here, but for the most part, everyone's clicking on these top 3 spots organically. And even if you're on page 1, but you're position 10, you're only getting 1.6. I know these aren't very clear, but you basically don't break 10% click-through rate until you hit position 3. So that shows you the patterns in terms of what consumers are doing, what we do ourselves, right? We're not going to page 2. We're hardly ever going to the bottom of page 1. We don't like ads. If we grew up watching TV, we hated commercials, right? It shows. So definitely it's important to make sure that you have a good SEO provider or that you know what you're doing with SEO so that you don't miss out on all of that traffic, right? Otherwise, your competition's good. One of the things that I wanted to go over too is what tools you can use. I wanted to provide a free one here that you guys can write down and go home and download. It's an extension you can use on Google. And basically the way you use it is you'll diagnose a page on your website and it'll pull up and show you different areas that your site's struggling, or that page actually on your site is struggling. And if you look at this, I only showed just a few of these results from this website that I was doing a diagnosis on. You can tell with their title, their meta title, they're doing really good. And this is all technical, by the way, so the technical stuff with the on-site work, I should specify that. So yeah, so their title's doing really good, but their meta description's nowhere to be found. And just so that you know what that is, So a meta title, when you search for something, there's a little hyperlink, that's the title for that search result. Underneath it, there will be a little description, that's the meta description. Just so we're all on the same page. They're completely missing their meta description. That's a problem, that's an issue. And then they're also missing headings, they're missing alt tags. So this not only ties into the technical side of SEO, but it's also the structure of the site too. If you don't have these things in alignment, Google doesn't know what they're looking at, right? They're only, the crawlers that come through the site and collect data, they're only as smart as the algorithm. And the algorithm has a certain set of standards that you have to follow. And that's why these tools are so helpful and useful to use. Especially if you're on a budget and you can't pay for a provider that can do your SEO, use SEO Quake. Jump in there and see what you can do. The other thing I wanted to go over too is AI. AI is obviously a hot topic. It's on the rise like we've never seen before. And who knows what's going to happen in the next few years. One thing that we are noticing is that there's going to probably be a place for generative engine optimization. And I shouldn't even say there's going to probably be a place. They've been talking about it the last couple of years, and it's actively happening now. If any of you have searched on Google for something, there will be an AI overview. Have you guys seen that? Right? Pull it up, there's a description there. You don't even have to click on a website. All the information's there for you. Well, that is exactly what generative engine optimization is. So, in order to have GEO or have best practice GEO, you first need to have a foundation of best practice SEO on your site and already have good rankings. Because what Google's doing is they're combing through your site, they're seeing if you're the expert, right? They're seeing if you have good experience, and then they're using basically the content from your site and they're putting it in that AI overview. However, the problem with that though is that if you don't have that foundation there, you're going to get skipped over. So the way I look at it is you've got GEO, and that's going to be more so top of funnel sales. That's more so informational keywords, it's navigational keywords where people are just trying to get information about a topic before they decide to buy, right? So it still has its place, but one thing that's interesting is a lot of people think that SEO is going to die because of AI, but really all we're seeing with AI at the moment is that it's just taking care of informational and navigational keywords, which don't convert anyway. So when it comes to SEO, it still very much has its place for converting keywords and making sure that you're getting the traffic that actually converts, essentially. But GEO will be important, again, for the top of funnel. And so one of the ways that we've seen really good results for that is if you have a Q&A page on your website. So if you have a Q&A page on your website, you can basically go to Google and type in what the questions might be for the product or service that you're doing, see the AI overview, and make sure that your content is maybe not word for word, because you don't want to get duplicate content and get dinged for that, but you do want to look at it and try and match it as best as you can so that you can have a chance to make it there at the top in the AI overview. So that's GEO. One of the things you can use AI for too is actually for the content you're writing. Now, to be specific with that, you can't just copy and paste whatever you've received from the AI into your website. And the reason why is because Google already has an AI system that will notice that you're using AI for your content. So you need to basically use the AI, get a good idea, get a good foundation, and then just basically use it as an outline, if you will. If you do copy it and put it in there, it's like being in college. If you plagiarize, right, the teacher's going to catch you. That's Google, basically. They're the teacher. So you can still use it for copy. You just need to use it as an outline. Don't copy and paste. The other thing that you can use AI for, too, is to actually analyze the site for best practices and see some low-hanging fruit where you can actually make an impact. Right here, so one of our clients is 218 Automotive, and I put in, I said, please analyze the site 218automotive.com for SEO best practices. And in there, it goes through and it shows, okay, these guys they're doing really good here here's their strengths, and then as you scroll down, mean, this went on for ages, and it goes over everything that they're missing that would basically help them see some improvement. So typically it's in the content, because again, that makes up 25% of the weight here. So you can kind of, I don't know, if you're looking at your site and you're thinking, man, my competitor is dominating me in this area, go to the page that product represents that your competition is dominating you on, go to their page and look at what they have as well, and compare it. I guarantee you they have better content than you. So if you do that and you compare those, your competitor's product site or product page and yours, you'll be able to kind of glean some best practices, even just from them, and go in there and update your page. That's it. That's all I have for you guys. That might have been too quick. Any questions? I went over a bunch of stuff.
You talk about content just for a minute. Like, it's more than just keywords. It has to be engaging with. If you look on the SEO, how that works. Talk a little bit about that. What the best content looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to be engaging in the sense that you're telling a story, right? So this one guy I was working with, he's a photographer, and his whole website was just made up of all of his photography. So he had like hardly any content at all. I was like, dude, you have to put content in here. He's like, yeah, but I'm an artist. I need them to see that I'm an artist. And I was like, that's great, but Google doesn't care. Google does not care about that. And so what we did is we brainstormed on how we could add content that was engaging, that made sense. And what we did is we found just different clients that he had just good stories about in terms of how the photo shoot went, what they did, how they had to set up furniture a certain way or whatever. And he was able to get a few paragraphs out, and in those paragraphs he was able to identify different keywords that he wants people to search him for. And so it all came together really nicely, because then he was looking at it as, oh, this is me almost, selling to these people, my consumers, with an engaging story that's real. And so I would recommend that when you're writing content, you don't want to have a ton of jargon, right? You don't want to be confusing. You want to make sure that it's easy to use for the user, because that's what Google's looking for. If you go back, like 10 years, all Google cared about, for the most part, was that you had good authority and trust, and that came from backlinks. But over the past few years, Google has completely flipped the script on that, and as I showed you guys, it's like 86% is the weight for on-site work, which is mainly content. So it's a good thing. If you can just get creative and write some content around your products and your services, Google's going to pick up on it. It's a good question. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Okay.
Thank you, Steph. Last speaker of the evening is my favorite speaker, Lexi from Big Red Jelly. So give it up for Lexi. There you go.
Sweet. Hello. I'm gonna be real honest. My TikTok has just been full of skincare talk. So all the dermatologists start out their video with my holy grail skincare product. So I definitely took inspiration from my TikTok algorithm. But I do want to just get rid of all this fluff really quick to make it very clear what we're talking about, and that's marketing momentum. I will still be giving my marketing tips and tricks and my holy grails and whatnot. But I just really want to make sure by the end of this, you guys know what marketing momentum can look like, how you can implement it into your business, and help things grow. Before I get too ahead of myself, I do feel like I need to introduce. I'm a stranger to some of you. So I'm Lexi. I work at Big Red Jelly, and I feel like I can't use this line anymore, saying I'm recently graduated, because that was last year, so I'm old news basically. But this is my first big kid job, and I'm seriously so glad. All my mentors told me hey, start an agency life, start your career there. You just learn so much so quick, and whatever you want to do in the future, you will be relying on what you learn in agency life. This cute guy's my husband. I'm so glad that I get to say that. sure to keep me moving. We're always like joining rec sports together. Like I learned how to lift. Like I've been in the, I know it looks like it. Like I've been going to the gym, I work out. Anyways, so we're always just doing fun things, and I'm so glad like as a couple we picked up golf together. So anyways, that's just a little bit about me as a person. But this is me as a marketer, and I want to like dig deep into everybody really quickly. And don't stress. I can like hear everybody's hearts pounding. I'm not gonna make you raise your hands or anything. But I will love some side notes. Okay, but seriously, what marketing efforts are you struggling with? I feel like a lot of the small businesses like that I work with client-wise, or even just like personal struggles I have, it's these 4 categories, and that's way higher than I thought it was gonna be. But like, is posting on social media every day just feel like not a good use of time? Is it like daunting? Is it something you want to assign to an intern like all the time? Is Google Ads, is that like setting aside time to learn a foreign language for you? Improving SEO rankings? I mean, we got like all those secrets here today. But even still, like it does feel like, okay, what do I need to sacrifice to get on number 1 all the time? And then, with customer relations, does it feel like you're trying to get a second date with somebody who doesn't like care that you exist? And like these are real struggles like that I see people, and like I'll get into this on why I would ask like, why do we struggle with this? Why do these efforts, like feeling like you're climbing up a mountain or having to pull like a 13-ton monster truck with you everywhere you go? But I'm not gonna ask because I came up with the answer. Yes, you're welcome. Here, in my personal opinion, which is weighted of gold right now, is that marketing efforts are absolutely torturous when you do not have marketing tactics giving your strategy momentum. I know I'm a little repetitive with marketing 3 times, but don't worry, I will kind of explain like the differences between all 3 of these. Marketing strategy, it's like the long-term roadmap that is set by your personal goals and your personal brand. We talk a lot about branding here at Big Red Jelly and how like that should be, like help you make those decisions. And then honestly, as well as marketing tactics, those are like the action items to help you in your strategy. I love when people say, I just want to be on the first page of Google. That is not a marketing strategy. An SEO strategy, sorry if I'm practicing with the microphone. An SEO strategy would be, like, okay, what can we track? How can we improve things? Those tactics, I mean, we got a lot of spoilers already, honestly, but what can we do on page? Can we be creating content? How should we be looking for, I think, what's the cheat sheet? Oh yeah, high traffic, low competitive keywords. Okay, now that we got those like definitions out of the way, here's something that I actually want to talk about. It's my new favorite fixation, and it's in Beast Games. Okay, I really hope you guys watch it because I will be talking about it. Everybody kept asking me, what are you going to talk about today? And I'm like, I can't tell them Beast Games, or else they're going to not ask me to speak anymore. But if you don't know, these guys are competing for $5 million. And one of the challenges was this physical one where they had to pull a monster truck. I think it was like 13,000 pounds, 500 yards, and there was like a speed bump right towards the finish line. And honestly, I feel like people starting out with marketing, like it really does feel like a monster truck. You could be lucky enough to have a marketing team to help out, but I know a lot of us here are probably one-man marketing machines. All right, I'm gonna hop over here because I want you guys to be able to watch my cute videos. But there are like 2 strategies, or when you're starting out with marketing, you can take the one step at a time approach. Here, I'm just gonna post today, I'll set aside time tomorrow to post tomorrow. That is the equivalent of like trying to pull the truck from a dead stop. Each step that these guys are taking is just as hard as the last one was, because these efforts are one-off projects, not creating that momentum. And even still, like I think the Orange team, they had a huge lead. You can start off hot. You can be so on top of things, have posts scheduled out for 3 weeks ahead. That means nothing if you take like a 3-month break. And you kind of see here, I mentioned earlier, there's a speed bump towards the finish line. They both, spoilers, they both get stuck. Okay? They do not have enough marketing momentum to get them over. And this speed bump can be anything. It's a big campaign. It's a new product launch. It's, there's honestly those two big things. And I want you guys to take some time. I kind of gave a few examples already. But like, what efforts are not creating momentum? Or what did I say? More poetic. What habits are not creating momentum? I mentioned earlier it's those inconsistent content marketing efforts. And content can be anything. It's social media. It's sending out that weekly newsletter or monthly newsletter, or those consistent blogging efforts. As well as, this is like, we talked a lot about low-hanging fruit today. Reputation is a huge one we use, like for people in the service industry. Our favorite example is the plumber. Pretend you're a plumber. You go into your service, you plumbed, and thank you. After you leave, that should not be the last time that client or customer hears from you. That's the perfect time to send, thanks, leave us a review, hey, join our referral program. And I kind of like got into these, but building out those CRM automations, you don't need to rewrite the email from scratch every time. Build those out, have that process in place. And then, that marketing funnel. It's so exhausting to feel like, oh, I gotta do everything in my power to attract people because that's how I'm gonna make money and stay afloat. Yes, attracting people is great, but that's the old marketing funnel. The new marketing flywheel is great. I wanna work to attract people, but then I wanna turn my clients into my biggest advocates. People getting me more traffic. I feel like that's a good way to put it. Now, as you can see, people like their strategies on what it takes to build momentum, but honestly, just as important is keeping up that momentum. And we've talked a lot about like using content as examples, but it's a good example. As you can see, people get stuck on the speed bump and they have to push the truck back they say it. We need more momentum, we gotta push the truck back. Now, I'm no physics person, but I'm sure that pushing the truck back sucks just as bad as like trying to pull the truck forward. The difference is that the effort it takes to, admit and consciously like, okay, we gotta take some steps back. We gotta build out some processes. I gotta have a new system. We need to hire like somebody. Like those efforts are hard, but they will pay off like immensely. And so kind of the example I have is like creating that content calendar, that content workflow. Okay, great, this idea, we have our content ideas, we have somebody working on it, we have a publish date, and kind of that process of people to help things out. I honestly think the next step to let this strategy carry you forward is the content repurposing. And what that is, it's like, sure, you can spend this time, ask somebody to write you a blog, and post it in, cool, great, check the box, give yourself a star. Or you can really think about how, okay, we're gonna create this blog that's gonna have so much value in it that we can create some sort of like resource downloadable graphic. Let's take that graphic, let's post it to social media. Let's take this graphic and push it onto an ads campaign to be like a lead gen asset for us that will, people, will give us their emails. And then we can put them into our newsletter. And you know what, what's content is gonna be in our newsletter? The blog that we wrote, and we're also gonna provide all like that kind of value. Do you see how like when you think about, okay, what can this one effort do? Like how can this affect as many areas as possible? Then all of a sudden, writing that blog doesn't feel as much as a chore, but you're great, this is gonna set me up, like I'm set for the next month on all the things that I can do with this. And I think for sure, like, I just really love this example. I don't know why. Okay, honestly, dang, I'm like super sweetie. Anyways, I did tell you guys I was gonna share my secrets, my holy grails with you. And I mean, we have talked a lot about content, creating those relevant search blogs. Well-optimized blogs, obviously we learned today, can help a ton with SEO ranking. Another just quick example that I want to share, just the importance of what content can do. So one of my clients, they are tutors here in Utah, and we're always talking about what kind of content content should I be creating? What can I do to rank higher? The competition's so high right now. We'll be talking and talking. And I'm like, you know what? You do math tutoring for all these grades. What if you have your tutors write about the most common like math concepts they have to explain to kids or like walk through a lot? So then, I was thinking strategically here, there's probably a parent out there that's helping with homework, trying to relearn fractions, I don't know. If you're writing content explaining, hey, how to explain these core concepts, who knows? You could have a parent stumble across that blog, notice that you offer math tutoring, and now you have a new prospect that you wouldn't have had before. With email drip campaigns, like whenever, Zach talked a lot about, why can't I get more leads, or why aren't you converting, or where's the drop-off point? And honestly, a lot of the times, it's when they aren't getting those automated confirmation emails, or, like, hey, meet the team, or just, hey, reminder, we exist, and we really like you. You can build those out. That's kind of one of those pushing the truck back moments in building out things in your CRM, right? Yes, it takes time in the moment, but it'll save you so much time. Lead gen, I feel like I gave a pretty good example on what that can be. I fall for them all the time. I think that's why it's my favorite marketing tactic, is because so many times I'll be scrolling and I've got like a little personal side gig, and every time people are like, oh, here's like this planned out content calendar, or like here's what you should be sending. Like my email's everywhere. But it's because it works, and I feel like it's that's like creating value, and you're getting more qualified leads as well. And then retargeting campaigns, I feel like a lot of people with ad campaigns, they just never know, is this working? Am I just wasting my money? And retargeting campaigns are a great way. Fine, let's just reach the people we've been reaching and see if we do need to change anything. And yeah, see if we do need to change anything. Like if we're reaching out to people and they aren't still, and we're still not seeing any conversion, what kind of keywords can we be adding? Maybe we do need to kind of clean up who we're reaching out. So anyways, those are like my big ones. Those are my favorite ones to work on as well for other small businesses. And yeah, honestly, thank you guys for listening to all three of us. I felt like they all kind of came together at the end, and I do just invite you to really think about ways that you can create market momentum for yourself, and anytime that you do start marketing efforts, just really see how they can help you more. Thanks.
Thank you, Lexi. Any questions for Lexi as we wrap up here? Sweet. A lot of good nuggets, and I know it can be overwhelming for small business owners because you're trying to do all of this plus HR. Shout out Xperity. Hit them up. HR, you're doing accounting, you're doing sales. In future events, we are going to bring in a few different speakers that specialize in those other areas too. So sales, for example, I think is something that most small business owners struggle with. And I just want to end by saying this. I think if there's one common denominator from these three speaking points, is despite all the overwhelm and all of this information, just reach out to any one of these three experts. They'll be happy to have a free consultation with you, share their checklists. I know that Upward Engine would do that. And that can just be helpful, set you in the right direction. Most small businesses suffer from indigestion, not starvation. That's the number one problem I see, right? I get an entrepreneur who comes and wants to meet with me. They want to scale, they want to grow. When I dive deeper into the metrics, there's plenty of awareness, plenty of leads. It's the conversion rates are subpar. They're not converting on their website. They're spending their money in the wrong places, and they're not building momentum, right? So I kind of get giddy when I have a broken pipe in my home, and I call the plumber, and I had a plumber come recently, and I like to see the experience. They come in and they plumb. And then this particular plumber, I won't throw him on the bus, they left. I didn't even get the invoice. Right, so how many small business, and I had to reach out and say, hey, do you want me to pay for this? You know what I mean? Next time, I'll be so nice. But, no invoice, there was no follow-up message, there was no referral program, there was no leave behind, there wasn't the old sticker on the water heater.
these are the things that we become accustomed to with big brands, but small businesses really struggle to get that going, right? It's 5 times more expensive to get a new customer than to get an old customer to come back. So anyway, that's like the one thing I like to recommend to entrepreneurs. Like the revenue is there, and you can tap into that. Okay, that is it, you guys. Again, shout out to Elena in the back. Raise your hand. That's our marketing manager. Big round of applause for her. This is new for us. We've already scheduled the next event, so join us May 15th. Again, every quarter we'll do this. We have different speakers every time. If you have, so scan that bad boy. If it works, sure it does. Thanks again to Insperity. I know that Jathan had to leave, but a big shout out to them. Chat with them. Shout out to Kiln. Thank you for hosting us. And don't forget, someone is getting an Apple Watch, just not the Android guy. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you for coming.